Good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? Come on in, come on in. I hope everybody's having a great day. Good morning, good morning. Feel free to say hello and let us know where you're coming in from this morning. Who is ready for an awesome training this morning? Hello, James from Canada. Good to see you, my friend. Hello, hello. Come on in, guys. We're going to give it about 4 minutes here before we get started, and we will be good to go. Good morning, Whitley. Good morning, Gail. We've got Gail from Lexington in the house. Good morning. Hey, guys, you still got a few minutes to send out those text messages and make sure that you have every team member on this training this morning. I promise you, you're going to want to have your team here this morning. So definitely make sure that you've got everybody invited, and we'll be getting started here in just a couple of minutes. Good morning, good morning. As you're coming in, feel free to say good morning or let us know where you're coming in from this morning. We've got Utah is in the house this morning. Las Vegas is in the house this morning. It's good to see everybody. Kansas is in the house this morning. Hey, Randy, how are you today? Atlanta, hot Atlanta's in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As we are still just a couple of minutes away from getting started, hope you guys are having a great day. Looking forward to seeing everyone this morning. Come on in, come on in. Good morning, good morning. So we've got Hot Atlanta's in the house. We have got Detroit is in the house. Austin is in the house this morning. Texas, Connecticut, Houston. Come on in, guys. We've still got another couple of minutes here before we kick this thing off this morning. I hope you guys are having a great day today. I am fired up. It is going to be a great training this morning. We've got a lot of great information coming your way. I hope you guys are ready to drink from a fire hose, and I hope you brought a success journal. If you don't have your success journal, then grab a notebook, grab a pen and paper. You're definitely going to want to take some notes this morning as we go explore cultivating the mindset of an entrepreneur. Good morning, good morning. Stephen, good to see you. Mr. Mike Warner, good morning. Shanda's in the house. Mike Worth is in the house. Good morning, everybody. Keep on shouting out those names. We're going to give it just about 1 more minute, and then we're going to go ahead and get things kicked off this morning. How are you, Carrie B? Good morning, good morning. Hello, British Columbia is in the house. Good morning, Iowa. Well, Miss Carrie B is here. Who else is out there, guys? Feel free to shoot out your name. And you know what? We're going to give it about 1 more minute. Definitely, for those of you that have team members that are not here on the line, text them, give them a call, give them a shout out. Let them know that this training is just getting started. You are going to want to, you're going to want your team members on the line this morning. So definitely plug in, and we're going to give it just about another 60 seconds, and then we'll get it started here. As you're coming onto the line, feel free to shout out your name. Good morning, Sandra. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Travis.
Good to see you here. We are going to be getting started here, guys. Grab a pen and paper, grab a success journal, find a quiet spot here for 5 minutes or so, because we've got some great information coming your way. If you don't have everyone on your team on this line, then definitely reach out to them right now. Let them know that they need to pop on the training this morning, because we've got some great information coming your way. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to our presentation screen, and I'm going to get everyone muted out here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So bear with me just 1 moment. I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody out right now, just so that we don't have any background noise. And Sandra, if you wouldn't mind, can you see my screen right now? Does it say Cultivating the Mindset of an Entrepreneur? It does. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Awesome. Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day today, and I'm very excited this morning to be able to share this information with you. We've got a lot of great information coming your way, so I'm going to try and go as quickly as I can here this morning, and I'm going to encourage everybody to take notes. Again, if you are just getting on the line, I'm going to also encourage you to get your team members on this training. There's a lot of great information that we're going to be going over today. I want to talk about mindset because when it comes to entrepreneurship, and one of the things about network marketers is a lot of times they don't take or they don't view themselves as entrepreneurs. And what I've learned is when you start to treat this like a business, and that includes how you look at yourself, how your operations, your mindset, all of that. When you start to treat it like a business, it'll truly pay you better than any business that you could imagine. One of the most important observations that I've made about entrepreneurship over the past 20 years is that it doesn't matter how great of an idea that you have. It doesn't matter how great your products are. It doesn't matter, how many people need the helo that we are currently offering. If you don't have your mind right, if you haven't learned how to think like a millionaire, if you haven't learned how to think like a six-figure earner, whatever your goal is, then the reality is you're never going to get there. Just as every master craftsman is equipped, let me just get that out of my way here real quickly. Okay. Just as every master craftsman is equipped with the proper tools to create works of art, we as entrepreneurs, we have to be equipped with the right belief system. We have to be equipped with the right attitude and the right philosophies to not only bring new ideas to life, but to endure the emotional journey that lies ahead. To succeed as an entrepreneur, you have to have the right mentality from the start. And I refer to this as the entrepreneur's mindset. And so that's what we're going to be diving into today. This mindset has several intertwining aspects to it. And that's going to be our focus for this entire day today, or for this entire training. And so starting out with, for starters, as business owners, you must approach your business, you must approach World Global Network with an unshakable resolve and an absolute certainty that you are going to succeed no matter what. You've got to be willing to choose success. And I know that sounds kind of funny, right? The choose success. Well, if it's a choice, then of course I'm going to choose success. But here's the reality. The truth is many of you have been opposing or subconsciously opposing success your whole life without even knowing it. Napoleon Hill once said that no one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. And the truth is to succeed, you must be willing to make a decision that you're going to obtain everything that you want out of life. And your new business, this world global business that we are a part of, is the vehicle that is going to take you to the promised land. Can I get an amen? Who's out there with me on that? Who truly believes that World Global is going to take you from where you are to where it is that you want to go? Who really has that belief? Because from this point forward, you've got to sell out to the notion that success, you guys, it is a choice. Success is a choice. And if you've even the smallest doubt, it will be exposed down the road. And unfortunately, that doubt will eventually begin to grow internally. I see this all the time. And I don't need to, I would compare it to a tiny little, like a small cancer cell. Cancer starts out as a cell that has one goal: to divide and conquer. And doubt works the exact same way. And it'll eventually overtake all of your hopes, and it'll eventually overtake all of your dreams. What you guys have to understand is that belief creates the actual fact. Belief creates the actual fact. You've got to believe, you've got to know that I am going to be successful, and I believe it, and I'm going to believe my way there. You've got to have that faith. You've got to, faith is the most powerful force on earth. So number one is entrepreneurs, they always choose success. Number two is you got to have that confidence. You got to have that belief. The biggest difference that I've noticed between successful people and unsuccessful people, it isn't even intelligence. It's not even opportunity. It's not even resources. It's the belief that they can make their goals happen. It is that confidence. In fact, recent studies suggest that self-confidence is the single greatest attractive quality on the planet. Well, think about it. What are you trying to do in your business? Are you trying to attract people to your business? Confidence is seen in the way that we walk. Confidence is seen in the way that we talk. Our attitude towards ourselves. We're going to talk a lot about that today. Our attitude towards others. Belief in ourselves and I want you guys to hear me, belief in ourselves, it starts when we value who we are. When we know what we offer. When we know what we bring to the table. There's a saying, I've got the golden goose. I truly believe that with World Global, we have the golden goose, now more than ever before. People are going to go to bed tonight saying a prayer, asking for financial solutions. People are desperately searching for ways to be able to get a little bit more money, to be able to have a little bit more time in their life, to be able to do the things that they want to do rather than the things that they have to do. They're desperately searching for ways to be able to improve on their health. And guess what, you guys? We have all of those things. We have all of them. You need to start acting like it. You need to start acting like you have the golden goose and you have what people are looking for, because when you value who you are, when you value what you bring to the table, guess what? Other people will value it too. And that's one of the biggest problems that networker marketers have is they don't truly know what they have in their grasps. They don't value their time. My time is my most valuable commodity that I have. I am so careful with where I invest my time, who I invest my time with, because I know that I'm never going to get that time back. And when I approach somebody with this opportunity, I approach them with the 100% confidence that they need this opportunity. They may not know it yet, but they need it. Every single person on the planet not only needs this device, but they need passive residual income in their life. They need to be able to declare or be able to declare their financial freedom day. The day that you no longer have to trade time for dollars. You can do the things that you want to do rather than the things that you have to do. I remember it wasn't too long ago. Well, actually, it was long ago. It was maybe, I don't know, years ago, I got a call from a friend of mine. And this guy, David. And David's a great guy, but like many, he struggled with self-confidence. And so David knew that I was ambitious. He knew that I had been in and around the network marketing industry. So he immediately put me on his hot list of people to reach out to about his opportunity. So the phone rang, I picked it up, and David he's like, "Hey, Travis, how are you?" And I'm like, "I'm doing good." And he's like, "Hey, man, listen, I heard about this opportunity the other day, and I don't know, I figured why not? I figured I'd check it out. It looked like it was a pretty good opportunity. I threw $300 at it, and, I'm going to see if it works or not. And I didn't know if you would be interested in taking a look at it." And I stopped him. I says, "David, listen, first of all, I want to ask you a question. If you were on the other end of that line and somebody called you up and they said they threw $300 at something just to see if it was going to work, would that compel you enough to want to take a look at this?" He says, "No, you're probably right." And I says, "David, you've got to have that belief. You've got to have that confidence. You've got to have that moxie. You've got to have that posture. When you are reaching out to other people, here's the magic. The magic is you've just got to believe more than they disbelieve. That's the secret. You have to believe more than somebody else disbelieves, because if you believe and and you are certain, I know where I'm going in this opportunity. I know World Global will be $1 billion enterprise. I know that this company is going to change so many people's lives. I know that I am going to walk across that stage in Thailand and some of the next events. I know it. I believe it. I see it. And because of it, it is a fact. And that's where you've got to get to. You've got to get to that point where you've got to stop doubting yourself. You got to stop questioning yourself. You got to let go of that baggage that you're carrying around from, 5 or whatever other opportunities that you've been in that maybe you haven't had success with, or that poor programming that you grew up with where you've always been told your whole life, "I can't afford, I can't afford, I can't afford." You got to remove that from your vocabulary. Start asking instead. I always ask myself, it's so funny because my family, they always say to me, Travis, you're just so lucky. No, I'm not lucky. I get lucky on purpose, because when everybody else is asking themselves, I can't afford this, I can't afford this, I just ask one simple question. I just put how in front of it. How can I afford this? And just by asking how, all of a sudden your mind goes to work and the subconscious goes to work to figure out how you can make something happen. Don't cut your latte out or coffee out in the morning. Don't live your entire life just on a strict little budget. Figure out a way to go pay for it. I'm not saying don't have a budget. Budgets are smart. But what I'm saying is that it's all about just mindset. It's all about confidence. And you know what? When it comes to connecting, confidence is everything. The first step in building rapport and connecting with others is learning to value who you are and what you bring to the table. When we value us, when we value what we bring to the table, when we value our time, other people will too. You've got to learn that. It's so important. Some of you have been going around doubting yourself your entire life. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve favor in my life. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the talent. And I could never be like them. And I could never be like Mike Sims. How can presidential millionaire? That's never going to be me. You see, when we truly don't believe we can accomplish our goal, it makes it easier to find excuses for even trying, doesn't it? Oh, I'll put it off for another day. I don't need to get on that call. When we don't have belief, what happens is we will subconsciously avoid the things that need to be done. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down here? Are you guys feeling me? Okay. We start to say, after all, what's the point anyways? Sandra's got her notes up. I like it. Sandra's got her notes up. She's fired up. I'm telling you guys, if you don't have your team members on this training, you might want to text them and tell them to pop on this morning, because we're going to be delivering some fire. So we should have 500 people on this training this morning. And that all comes back to mindset. So congratulations to all of you for showing up big, right? Because it's those that show up, move up. It's those that show up that grow up. It's those that plug in and get the mentorship that they need, right? Because we are in the people development business. It's all about growing yourself to grow others. And so congratulations for all of you being here this morning. So let me let you in on a little secret. The secret is that if you don't believe in yourself, why would anybody else believe in you? If you don't believe in yourself, why would anybody else believe in you? You know what people are looking for more than anything in leadership? They're looking for certainty. They're looking for consistency. If I'm in one day and I'm out the next, do you think people are going to follow you? If I'm excited one day and I'm up, and then the next day I'm down and I'm all over the place, I'm an emotional roller coaster, and I'm showing signs of doubt and I'm questioning things, and then the next day I'm like, okay, we're going to do this, and I'm fired up, and the next day I'm back over here again. Do you think people will follow that? No. What are they looking for in their leader? They're looking for somebody that they can follow and they can plug into, and they can borrow their belief. That's what you've got. And you know what? I'm not saying that you're not going to have those moments of doubt or those weaknesses, but you just can't dwell there. You can't live there. A big part of attracting prospects to our business idea is the certainty that we will succeed. That's the magnet. That's the secret, you guys. It's the certainty. When you get on a phone call with somebody and they start, somebody says, well, is this one of those things? Is this network marketing? If you cower, then they win. You know what somebody says to me? Is this network marketing? I says, you better believe it is, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't even be here. Because you know why? Network marketing is a $186 billion a year industry that pays out $200 million a day to people just like you and me, creates more millionaires than anybody else in the world, gives people back their time freedom to be able to do the things that they want to do rather than the things that they have to do. You know what? Absolutely, it's network marketing, because I wouldn't even look at it if it wasn't. Do you think people are going to be like, okay, might be taken a little bit back by that confidence? Think about it. In a world of uncertainty, one of the things that we crave the most is certainty. What is certainty? It's a need that we have to be certain about what we know, what we do, what we say. Without certainty, what happens? And you guys have all felt this. Some of you are feeling it right now. We become anxious. We become uncomfortable. We become fearful. And you know what? then we start to avoid things because it's just not certain to us, right? I'll tell you guys, I remember back in when I first got involved in network marketing, and I was invited. We had a little bit of success early on, went out and we were pretty excited, and just with contagious enthusiasm, we sponsored 21 people into our business in 30 days. And the upline leaders wanted us to share our story on a national call. So we were invited to speak on that Wednesday call, and at that time, those calls were early in the morning. She asked me on Sunday night, and from Sunday to Wednesday, I didn't sleep because I was so nervous that I was going to be talking on this national call. I was terrified, and I did it. I was uncomfortable. I stumbled over my words. My mouth got dry. I was nervous as can be, but I got through it. And I grew just a little bit by doing that. Not too long after that, I was invited to do the opportunity meeting in Provo, Utah. Terrified, looked for every reason to cancel, come up with an excuse, but something inside me said, when Greg, this guy asked me, he says, Travis, can you do the opportunity meeting? And everything inside of me wanted to say, I'm not available. You can't do it. You got to figure out ways. I mean, everything inside of me was screaming not to go to accept to say yes. But then there was one voice that said, you know what, do it. You got to do it. You got to face your fear. You got to do it. And so I did. I accepted it and didn't sleep again until Wednesday night, 7:30 opportunity meeting. I got there at 6:30. Greg had told me that there really wasn't that many people that showed up to these things. There was over 100 people there, and I freaked out. Like, my heart was going through the roof. I had Summer sit right in the front row so that I could just stare right at her and nobody else. I had to have her hold a cup of water because I was so terrified to speak, and I knew my mouth would get dry. And so I started, finally about 7:30, somebody walks over and goes, so you think we're ready to get started? And I was just like, yeah, let's get started. And so I remember first 5 minutes in, my mouth was sticking together because it was so dry, and I had to go grab a cup of water from Summer to take a drink, and my hands were shaking when I took the drink and spilled water a little bit on myself. So, but listen, I did it. I got through it. I got over it. It was uncomfortable, but guess what? I did it again, and I did it again, and I did it again, and pretty soon it wasn't so uncomfortable anymore. And now I'm sitting here talking to you guys, and I love it. And that's the thing is you just have to know that you just have to step outside of your comfort level. You got to believe in yourself. One of my favorite quotes, they knew who he was when he walked into a room. Think about that statement for a moment. They knew who he was when he walked into the room. It's because he knows who he is, because he values himself. I'm not talking about arrogance, you guys. I'm talking about confidence. You ever notice when somebody walks into a room and they just light up the room, and there's just something about that person? That's what I'm talking about. The way that they walk, the way that they were dressed, the way that they carried themselves, you just knew that there was something special. And on the contrary, you've had somebody that's walked into a room before and they've literally sucked the life out of the room, right? You've probably experienced that too. They had a negative vibe about them, negative vibration, negative energy about them. Who would you rather surround yourself with? I want to spend more time with the person who is confident. I want to spend more time who knows the value that they bring to the table. I want to become more like them. I want some of that to rub off on me. Because confidence is such a captivating attribute. When somebody is confident, they're assured, they're secure with themselves, and they're clear. And what could be more appealing than possessing those qualities? So keep in mind, again, I'm not talking about arrogance. The thing about ego is you can feed your ego or you can feed your pocketbook, but you can't feed both. It's one of the things that is the arch enemy of network marketing. You see leaders that start to gain some success, and that ego just gets so big, and they start buying their own press. And, it just, you don't want to go there. I know so many people who appear to have it all together, but the one thing that they lack is self-confidence. They have every reason to be confident, every reason in the world to be confident. But for some reason, they're insecure and they're self-doubting. And I know, you guys, that this is resonating with some of you. I know that this is hitting home for you. So why is this? It boils down to old negative beliefs and baggage that we've been lugging around our entire lives. It does. That's what it comes down to. Let me give you an example. You've got a pretty good singing voice. I don't have a good singing voice at all, so that's not me, but I'm just saying, here's an example. You got a pretty good singing voice. But somewhere along your life, somebody told you something negative about your singing. And from that point on, every time that you sing, you repeat those words over and over in your head. A belief is a thought that you repeat over and over again until it becomes a truth for you. But that doesn't mean that it's true. There are unlimited examples of this. You know, somebody when I was a kid said, your legs are too skinny. I didn't wear shorts for like 2 years. I lived in Arizona and it's like 125 degrees outside and I'm wearing jeans because I had skinny legs and I was working out as much as I possibly could. You know what? Somebody may have told you that you're too overweight, or you're not an artist, or you're a bad driver, or you're not good at sales, or you can't do this, or you can't do that well. But here's what you need to understand. When we hold on to these negative beliefs, it causes insecurities and results in our not being confident. So how do we break this cycle? How do we break it and let our true, beautiful selves emerge and shine brightly? First of all, we need to be aware of the truths that we believe about ourselves. Just have to be aware. When a thought comes into your mind like, man, I'm just so stupid, you need to evaluate that thought. Are you? Are you really so stupid? I almost guarantee the answer is no. So why do we continue to put ourselves down and believe these non-truths? Because it's a habit. Because it's a habit. So let's break the habit. Next time you hear yourself telling yourself something negative, stop it. You got to stop it and replace it with a positive and cover it with a beautiful truth. This guy cracks me up. I had to choose this picture because he makes me laugh. Just even seeing his face just makes me laugh. Would you let somebody else talk to you like that? Would you talk to somebody that you love like that? Of course not. So why do we talk to ourselves that way? It breaks your spirit. It breaks your self-esteem, and it breaks your confidence. You know, the most important talk is your self-talk. You got to, if you're one of those people that are constantly, negative is coming into your mind, you've got to start stopping it and evaluating it and thinking about it and then replacing it with a positive statement, a positive affirmation statement. So I want you guys to write these down. Let's see if I have these here. So what does confidence look like? Okay? What does confidence look like? First of all, confident people, they don't worry about what other people think. Oh my gosh, if I told you guys how many times that, first of all, as you gain more success, more and more people are going to have an opinion about you and what you do, and as your team starts to grow, it's going to be your fault that their business isn't growing as fast as it should be, and people are not going to like you just because you're successful. It is what it is. You just have to get to the point where you don't worry about what others think. It saddens me to watch how many people that are in, network marketing, but they're not really in network marketing. They're like in the network marketing witness protection program. They're so embarrassed to go out and tell people that they're network marketers. And the reality is, what are you embarrassed about and what do you care about? Are you really that worried about what other people think of you? You've got to get over that, because I can promise you that they're really not thinking much. I'm going to share some things with you in a moment that it's going to be a little bit staggering and eye-opening to you. But you got to get past that. So successful people, they don't worry about what others think. They're so sure of themselves that they don't need others' approval to feel good. Do you wonder and worry what other people think about you? You got to remember, what other people think about you is none of your business. You can't pay your bills with other people's opinions, you guys. You got to just, at a certain point, you've got to do this for you. You've got to do this for your family. You've got to do this for the people that you love and care about. And I promise you, the same people that are talking about you, I remember when I got into network marketing, it was so funny. Well, first, let me back up. So, even out of high school, I'm a big believer in ongoing education. I think college is great. It wasn't great for me. It was not a good fit. And I wanted to own a business so bad. I mean, even in high school, I owned a car washing company in high school. Out of high school, I started a pressure washing company right away. And I just loved entrepreneurship, everything about it. And so I went to college for one day, you guys, and I sat in 1 hour. And I was just like, this feels all wrong. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in a classroom. And I left, and I never went back. And I'm not suggesting that that's the right course. It just was for me. And so I started this business, and my friends all made fun of me. They're like, what are you, you dropped out of college? What are you, just going to clean concrete the rest of your life? And I kind of laughed about that. And I thought, no, I'm going to hire you guys. And I put them through college, and they put me into my first house. And I've never looked back since then. So you just can't. And then when I got into network marketing, the same thing. People were making fun of me. Oh, what is he selling? Skincare and just all kinds of, because what had happened is that we really came out and started running hard in network marketing around 2007, 2008. When my business collapsed, Facebook was just coming out. So Facebook, you were reconnecting with all of your friends from back in high school. And so guess what? Now it was, I started getting people making fun of me again. Until I started traveling the world with my family. And I started doing the things that most people couldn't do. And people eventually started reaching out and saying, okay, tell me more about this. So you gotta believe in yourself. The second thing is that you can see it in their body language. They walk with a purpose. They don't fidget with their arms and their hands. They stand tall, their head held high, and they move in closer when they're conversing, and they're comfortable to give a loving touch, and they shake your hand with a strong assurance. And when you walk into a group with an unfamiliar setting, what I guess my question would be, what does your body language say about you? The next thing is that their facial expressions, they convey confidence. They smile. Their eyebrows are happy and expressive. They make eye contact. They look forward as they know where they're going. They do not look down. They're not, and try to be invisible. So what message are you sending just from your facial expressions every single day when you're coming into contact with people? They speak in a pleasing way. They speak highly of themselves and others. One of the things that I love about most confident people and successful people is they're actually encouraging and lifting up and supporting others. They're not putting people down, right? They don't use bad or harsh language. When you're truly secure with yourself, you don't need to put other people down to feel good about yourself. Here's something that I heard long ago that still rings true to me today, and maybe it will for you too. Intelligent people talk about ideas. Average people talk about things. Small-minded people talk about other people. So my question is, what do you talk about? I'm going to say that again. Intelligent people talk about ideas. Average people talk about things. Small-minded people talk about other people. So what do you talk about? Now, number 5, and I wrote this twice. I was doing this at like 1 in the morning last night. Number 5 is they should say loving yourself. You may not be the best at everything, you guys, or have the perfect this or that, but being confident is not that. It's being honest with yourself and comfortable with who you are. That's called loving yourself. It's being honest with yourself and comfortable with who you are. It's not what you have. It's not what you own. It's not the perfect this. It's not the perfect hair. It's not the perfect legs. It's not the perfect whatever. That's not it. It's loving your authentic self and knowing who you are and the value that you bring to the table. I'm going to pause just a second. I'm going to look at some of the comments that are coming in here real quickly because I can't, when I've got it in full screen, I can't see the comments. So let's see what we've got coming in here. Johnny Josephson, this will change your business and yourself. Stop it. That's right. I love that stop it picture. Good reminder to not worry about what other people think. My success holds others accountable for where they are in their lives. Gene, that's awesome. I love that. The Bible has taught me all of this. You know what? Best leadership book around, Bev. I agree with you. Love your authentic self. That's right. Okay. So let's keep rocking and rolling. Are you guys enjoying this so far? Are you guys getting some stuff? Is this good stuff for you? If so, give me a little high five or a little something in the comment section to just let me know that you guys are picking up what I'm putting down here today. Okay, so I want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes before we move on. So one of my favorite quotes is, when we shine bright with belief, people will come from miles just to catch a glimpse. I want you guys to all to write that down, and I want you to put it somewhere that you see every morning. I want you to read that to yourself every morning. When we shine bright with belief, people will come from miles just to catch a glimpse. You want to know how Summer and I have sponsored 61 people, 62 as of yesterday, into this business in 50 days? Because we are not cowering that we're part of this opportunity. We're not embarrassed by it. I don't care what people think. I believe in World Global so much, and I believe in this opportunity, and I believe in the people that we're working with. And I am doing everything I can to shine bright with belief. And as a result of that, people are seeing it, and they're coming to me and they're saying, I want to know more about this. Because if you're that certain, you know, I feel you, right? I feel that contagious enthusiasm that you're putting out. And as a result of that, I want to be a part of that. It comes back to that certainty and that confidence and just not wavering back and forth like a seesaw all the time. Number 3 is courage. You know, there's a story I want to share with you guys. Fear, you know, is one of those things that'll either paralyze you or motivate you. And for most people, they're living their fears. They're not living their dreams. You know, there was a story, true story, of a gentleman who worked at a railroad, for a railroad. And one day, they decided, the whole group that was working, they were going to leave work a little bit earlier to go celebrate one of their colleagues' birthdays. And so one gentleman wanted to go finish up his work and try and get out of there. And so while he was working, he got locked into a refrigerated car. And unfortunately, the lever on the inside that opens up the lock wasn't working. And he was, you know, immediately realized that there was nobody there because everybody had left early. And so he became frightened. So he tried everything he could to get out. He couldn't get out. More and more, as every hour went by, he became more anxious, more terrified. He found he had a little journal or a little notebook that he had carried with him in his pocket and a pen, and so he started making notes to himself. And you know, he wrote, "Oh my God, you know, I don't know if I'm going to make it out of here alive. You know, please, you know, let my children know how much I love them." And then a little later, he transcribed, "You know, it's getting colder. It's getting colder. I can feel my breath or my, you know, the life, you know, coming out of me. I just, you know, I don't know what I want to do." And so in the morning, his colleagues showed up at work, and they found him, and he passed away. He actually died. Sad story. But here's the moral of the story. The moral of the story is the refrigeration wasn't even turned on in the car, in the train. The temperature in that vehicle was 67 degrees, but he froze to death. How is that possible? It's all right there. It was all in his mind. So courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day that just says, you know what, I'm going to try again tomorrow. Guys, you're going to have some good days. You're going to have some bad days. You're going to have some days that you just think this is not working. I'm putting everything I can into this, and people are saying no. But courage is waking up and saying, I'm going to do it again tomorrow. People are going to laugh at you. They're going to challenge your ideas. You know, after all, who are you to make a better life for yourself? You know, when I first started my first business, again, you know, everybody laughed at me. Years later, they thanked me because I put them through college when they worked for me. When we started that first network marketing company, people made fun of us. You know, when I retired from the industry back in 2015, people, you know, oh, you know, what are you going to go try and be Eric Worre now? And there were people that made comments. And then when I came back into the industry not too long ago, people made comments. I don't live my life for them. I don't live my life around the popularity contest. I live my life for, you know, my babies that are sleeping inside right now and my wife. I live my life for you guys and the people that are here, the people that I want to help that do have that belief. I don't care what the naysayers think. There's always going to be naysayers. It's always going to be the person, the armchair scholar that sits up in the bleachers that never has the courage to go out there and step on field. Those are the people that are on the field are the people that I'm interested in. You've got to be willing to withstand the heat. The moment that you make a decision to improve your life, the moment that you make that decision, People around you, sometimes the people that are closest to you, they're going to try and pull you down. They will. They're going to try and pull you down. I'm sure that you've all heard the term crabs in a barrel, right? Crabs in a barrel mentality. You know, what happens when if you've ever seen this before, it's actually very interesting. So if you look at a bunch of crabs in a barrel, they're all clawing, trying to get to the top, trying to get out of that barrel. And one by one will get on top of the other one, and then another one will get on top of the other one, and eventually one will get to the top, and its claw will grab the top of that bucket, and it'll start to climb out. And what do you think those crabs do? They pull them right back in because they're all trying to do the same thing. And what I've learned is that I shouldn't worry about what people are thinking about me, because the chances are they're really not thinking about me much at all. They're thinking about themselves. Not because they don't care about me, but because they're way too focused on their problems and how they're going to pay their bills or provide for their family. And even more, they're probably worried about what other people are thinking of them. It's this vicious cycle. They're definitely way too preoccupied with their own troubles to be worried about what you're doing, you guys. You got to get this in your head, because this is the biggest barrier to success in network marketing. You got to get this in your head. I also came to the conclusion again that it's pretty tough to pay my bills with other people's opinions. So unless these people are going to pay my rent and they're going to pay my mortgage and put me on a great retirement plan by living my life the way they want me to, then it's time to stop worrying about what other people think. Do you guys agree? Is it time to stop worrying about what other people think? If you care about what other people think, you will always be their prisoner. You will always be their prisoner. Do you guys want to know how important other people's opinions are of you? I want you to just hear me out on this, okay? So studies show that in a funeral, on average, 10 people will care enough to cry for you. So on average, at a funeral, 10 people will care enough to cry for you. And the number one thing that will determine how many people will go to your burial site is the weather. It's the weather. Not how you lived your life or how many good deeds that you've done, but the circumstances of the weather. So when I heard this, I was like, wow. You know, my entire outlook on getting approval from others changed a little bit, because I no longer cared what people thought of me. Their rejection had zero power over me. You see, when you cower when somebody says no to you and you choose not to pick up the phone and call that next person, guess what? You're letting rejection have power over you. So when I was like, you know what, their rejection is not going to have power over me anymore. That's a very liberating way to think about it. Why do I care about what other people think? We spend so much of our life worrying about what other people think. Most of these people you worry about wouldn't even come to your funeral. And if they do, they likely won't even cry. And if they do, poor weather might even keep them out of the burial. Isn't that crazy? So always remember that don't let people who don't matter matter. I'm going to say that again. Don't let people who don't matter matter. Steve Jobs once said, your time is limited, so don't waste it living somebody else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. So powerful. Don't let the noise of other opinions drown out your inner voice. And most importantly, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition, because they somehow already know what you truly want to become, and everything else is secondary. Now, here's the next one. Entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, they avoid negativity like the plague. You have to learn to filter out the negativity. We live in a world that surrounds us with negativity. We get it regularly from media outlets because why? It sells. Because there's no shortage of people around you every day who are miserable. Coworkers, bosses, subordinates, friends, families, strangers on the street will seek you out to share the garbage in their life. They will. Misery loves company. Don't just not walk away from negativity, you guys. Run from it. You know, Summer and I, one of the most important things that we've done to have success in business and in life and happiness as well is to raise the bar on who we've allowed into our inner circle. And there are people that I've done business with that I have chosen to pull away from because they're just negative people. And I just don't want that in my life. You know, I can't control that, you know, as the team gets bigger and thousands of people, I mean, I can't control that somebody negative won't come into my team, but I can promise you that I can control who I give my time to and my focus to and to my energy to and to who I personally lock arms with. And I don't want that in my life. Get as far away from it as you can. Not only does it impact our perspective with regards to our own lives, it impacts our mental and our physical health. It does. It impacts our mental and our physical health. I make it a priority to avoid drama. You know, I get, you know, as my organizations have gotten bigger, you guys will just laugh at some of the things that have come to me, you know, relationships, you know, husbands and wives fighting with each other, you know, just craziness. And I won't even go into it because I don't want to give it the energy that it deserves. But what I'll tell you is I just avoid it. Like, I can't deal with it. I just can't deal with somebody who's constantly negative and they're always finding something wrong. Look, there is never going to be a perfect company, you guys. There's never going to be a perfect company. You know, where there are a few people that had glitches trying to hook up their helo, yeah, you know what? It'll work itself out. Does customer service, does it suck to sit online for 50 minutes for customer service? Yeah, it does. It'll work itself out. If I wanted to focus on all of those things, here's the thing. Pick your company with problems because they all have them. Nothing's going to ever be perfect. The situation's never going to be perfect for you to get started in your business. There's always going to be busy. There's always going to be stuff going on. So if you're just telling yourself, oh, I'm just waiting until this happens to get started. I'm just waiting until this happens. No, you're just making excuses. Let's just be real. For me, I just can't, when people start doing that, I don't berate them. I just remove it from my life. I focus on the people that want to go to the top with me, period. And that's it. That's just how I am. That's how I have to be. You know, sometimes it's even your close friends and family members that you got to say, listen, you know what? I'm going to go focus over here for a while. It doesn't mean that I don't love you, but you got to slowly pull away, because if they're constantly just negative and filling your mind with doubt and worry, and fear, and all of this stuff, you've got to cut it loose. Sometimes you got to give up to go up. You know, I'm always on the lookout for firefighters. You know what firefighters are? These are the people who go around and they love to put out everybody else's fire. You know what I'm talking about. You guys have them in your life, some of them in your life right now. You know, we all know somebody that's always negative. They're complaining. They feel as if life has dealt them a bad hand of cards. So they feel it's their duty to make everybody else miserable right along with them. Anybody know somebody like that? Give me an eye if you know somebody like that that's in your life. These are the people who suck the life out of you. They suck the life out of the room when they walk in. You know what I'm talking about. We've all got that one family member who all they want to do is talk about how bad their life is, how they hate their boss, how they hate their job, their health is horrible, how broke they are, the sky is falling, blah, 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 right? The next thing that you need to do is you need to analyze your crew. You got to analyze your crew. It's vital to your success that you avoid the firefighters and surround yourself with the firelighters. I'm talking about the people that inspire you, that motivate you, that encourage you, that believe in you, people who believe in you and share the same goals and dreams and wishes as you do. That's what's important. You know, the moment that Summer and I made a conscious decision to raise the bar and who we hung out with, everything changed. We started networking with a purpose. We started going to events and seeking out mentors who had what we wanted. On our 10-year anniversary, we went on the MLM cruise. Yes, that's a thing. It's called the MLM cruise. We could have gone to Jamaica. We could have gone to the Bahamas or Tahiti or somewhere else, but we went on the MLM cruise. Why? Because we knew that there were going to be other leaders that were going to be on that cruise that we wanted to rub shoulders with. We wanted to be around them. We wanted to soak it in. You know, who was on that cruise? Jordan Adler, Todd Falcone, Art Jonick, Jeff Welch. I mean, I could go on and on. Ken Cito. And you know what? Some of these guys became some of my best friends. Todd Falcone, Jordan Adler. These guys are great friends of mine. All because I made a conscious decision to network on purpose and surround myself with the right people. One of the most important decisions that we make in life is who we choose to be around. Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. You know, we lean on our friends a lot. We share our successes and our challenges with them. And it's important that these people be the ones who support and encourage us, because we must find a support system of friends who will support our goals and our dreams and our wishes. And when it's necessary, even call us out at times when we fall off track. You know, do an analysis of the circle of your friends and see whether they add value to your life or they take away from it. Always surround yourself with people who will help you reach your goals. If you want to be financially successful, then surround yourself with those who are financially successful. If you want to improve your relationship with your spouse, then don't go hang out at the bar with somebody who just got a divorce. Kind of a no-brainer, guys. And if you hang out with your people who are broke all the time, broke-minded, chances are you'll be broke right along with them. Again, you got to remember that if you want to leave the orchestra, you've got to turn your back on the crowd. You got to be willing to. You got to be willing to pay the price of success. The next one is perseverance. Every successful company that I have been involved in has gone through periods where things didn't work, where something important took too long, and the doubts started to creep in. That's where perseverance and tenacity come into play. More than anything, entrepreneurship is a game of attrition. I want you to write that down. Entrepreneurship is a game of attrition. It's about having the determination and the discipline to see it through. It's not about giving up and being the last man or woman standing when everybody else has fallen by the, or excuse me, it's about not giving up and being the last man or woman standing when everybody else has fallen by the wayside. You want to be ahead of your competition? Just make a commitment today that you'll be here a year from now. Just by being here a year from now, you will be so much further ahead than your competition. As entrepreneurs, we should prepare ourselves for failure, but expect to fail forward. You know, there was a study conducted by Duke University, and that study, 549 successful company founders said that the most important reason for their success was their ability to learn from the mistakes. And learning from failure, you guys, is how we succeed. So when you call someone up and you do it wrong when you prospect, or you text somebody and you get, you know, the wrong response, you gotta learn and you got to adapt from that. The path to success is not straight. It never is. The road is full of potholes. The journey's got all kinds of detours. No matter how meticulously that you plan, you're gonna make a mistake. Maybe more than one, probably more than one. Some entrepreneurs, they fixate on the idea that they'll succeed on the first try and then they give up. It cracks me up when somebody joins this business and they reach out to 5 people or even 10 people and nobody's interested. And they're like, nobody's interested in this thing. You know, I've reached out to everybody. No, have you really reached out to everybody? Like, have you really, or did you talk to 5 people and you did it wrong because you didn't follow the system and you said too much and you threw up on them, and as a result of that, they formed an opinion, but it wasn't based on all the facts? Or did you really follow the system, and did you really go out and reach out to 200 people over the course of 7 to 10 days to truly launch your business? Because if you did, the numbers don't lie. You might find 140 of them that they're not interested. But if you did 200, you'd have 60 of them that would be in process that would be looking at this. And if you continued to follow up and put them through the process, you'd probably go sponsor 20 people. But if you go talk to 5, and they tell you no, it's pretty easy to think, oh, the whole world is not interested in this. The whole world is broke. No, they're not. Everybody that I know just doesn't have the money for this. No, that's your belief. And you know what? Because you believe that, it's an actual fact. You'll never, you know, we sponsor at the level that we believe in. So if you think that $1,349 is so expensive, then guess what? You're never going to sponsor anybody at $1,349. I don't think it's expensive at all. I think $1,349 to change your life and to buy a business, that's a no-brainer. If I put my car keys down in front of you today and said, hey, listen, you guys can have my Mercedes. If you can come up with $1,500 in the next hour, that same broke person that tells you they don't have money, I bet you they could come up with that $1,500. Why? Because dollars follow value. Some entrepreneurs, they fixate on the idea that they'll succeed the first try and then they give up and let out a second try. By not anticipating failure, they actually failed. You've got to anticipate failure. You've got to anticipate rejection. A perfect example of a creative genius who showed a great deal of perseverance was Walt Disney, one of my favorite stories. Walt never gave up. He overcame ridicule and opposition his entire life. When Disney first introduced Mortimer Mouse was his name, right? Mortimer Mouse. We know him today as Mickey Mouse. You know what his friends did? They laughed. They laughed, even his brother. They laughed at his creation. Roy, his brother, said that you're crazy. This isn't going to go anywhere. His colleagues and his critics did the same for Three Little Pigs and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They were those were nicknamed Disney's Folly because people laughed at them. Walt's Disneyland idea was ridiculed. You know, they called him a carny. You know, an idea from a man with a Barnum and Bailey mentality. And now it's the happiest place on earth, right? Disney never allowed expert opinions or adversity to stop him from following and creating his dream. By the beginning of the 21st century, over 1 billion people had paid admission to see his films. I mean, think about that. But Disney didn't just give up on his dreams when the bankers refused to fund this story of a fantasy princess whose innocence wins over the wicked witch. Disney was out of money halfway through filming. But guess what? I mean, even through the process of his life, the extreme pressure and anxiety caused Walt to suffer 3 nervous breakdowns by 1935. But you know what? He just kept going. And he finally convinced the Bank of America to loan him $5 million to complete that first animated film. And the release of Snow White and Seven Dwarfs is one of his crowning achievements. 20 million people saw the movie during the first 18 months of its release. Back then, think about that. At the time when movie tickets were sold for 25 cents each. I want you to remember Walt Disney's tenacity the next time that you see a Mickey Mouse T-shirt in an airport or some theme in a theme store in a city in the world. His theme parks in Anaheim and Orlando and Tokyo and Paris, they attract hundreds of millions of visitors annually. Because of his tenacity and his perseverance, Disney now employs he employs hundreds of thousands of people. And the most astonishing fact of all is that of the dozens of animated movies that have since produced hundreds of millions in revenue, 2/3 of them were considered a loser on Walt Disney's first release. The truth is that the day in the life of an entrepreneur is an emotional roller coaster, you guys. It is. You know, how many of you have been through this? Man, somebody just called about my business. I'm so excited. 2 hours later, this sucks. No one's listening to what's going on. No one's interested in anything that I'm doing. I totally messed up on that approach. Oh my gosh, you know what? I just got a call from this leader, and you know what? They're interested in what we're doing over here. I'm so excited. You know what? I'm on my way. You know what? Giving up the good for the great. And then like 2 days later, I don't know how I'm going to pay this bill. Like, I think I'm going to go bankrupt doing this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm totally fearful. Wait a second. My life's great again. Awesome. Right? That's entrepreneurship. That is the way that it works, you guys. So you got to just get used to that. Just remember this. Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. If you have the courage to go after your dream and surround yourself with some good people and have a tenacious mindset, you're on track to experience the freedoms that will come your way. Now, I'm going to go through the final. We're going to break this down here, and we're going to get through the rest of this real quickly because I know I'm keeping you guys here a little bit longer than I wanted to. But, you know, wanting to win is not enough. Wanting to win is not enough. You have to go through a process to improve that takes patience and perseverance and intentionality. And willpower is not enough. As you've probably learned with diets and with, you know, New Year's resolutions, you've got to have some pretty strong why power. You know, let me give you an example. Let's say that I put down a 6-inch, 12-foot plank on the ground and I asked you to walk it for $100. Would you do it? If I offered, I want you to say, if you would do it right now, if I give you a $100 bill and I put down just a 6-inch wide, 6 inches, 12-foot plank on the ground, and it was just sitting on the ground, and I offered you $100 to walk across the plank, who would do it? Give me a yes if you would do it. Okay, so a lot of you would do it. Now let's say I did the same thing, but this time I asked you to do it 60 stories up for that same $100 bill. Would you still do it? Is there anybody that would do it? Just out of curiosity. 60 stories up, 6-inch plank, 12 inches long. I'm looking at the chat. Let's see what we got. Is there anybody? Michelle, not just no. Okay, some of you said yes. We've got a yes, but most of you are saying heck no. For $100, guys, 60 stories up, 6-inch plank, 12 feet long. Okay, now let's keep going here. What if your children were on the other side of that plank and the building that they were in was on fire? Would you cross the plank? There's not a hell yes, right? Without a doubt. It's the same plank. It's 12 feet long, same thing. Still six stories high. There's not one of you that wouldn't. Gives me the chills even actually talking about that. So what changed? What changed? The risks and the danger stayed the same. Your why changed, right? Your why changed. Your reason for wanting to do it changed. You see, when the why is big enough, you're willing to do anyhow. If you want this business to work, you have to look past the motivation of monetary and material goals. It's not that those things are bad. I like nice things too, and the options that money afford my family. But the material things can't really recruit your heart. They can't really recruit your soul. They can't really recruit your guts into battle. That comes from something much deeper. So I want you guys this weekend to really, really define your why. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Why do you want to make more money? What are you willing to fight for and work day and night for? What would cause you to walk across that beam 60 stories up? That's your passion. That's the single most important discovery that you can make in yourself, you guys. That's the fuel for your engine. Now, I remember a lady and her husband who came to me shortly after the collapse of the real estate market. And they had done everything right. They'd worked for 40 years. They saved enough money to retire, buy a modest but nice home, their dream home, on an acre of land, wraparound porch with a swing on the front. And with the downturn in the economy and the 401ks collapsing, they lost everything. And it was just such a humbling experience for them. They had to actually move back into an apartment. They were living on Social Security, which is 1/3 of the money that most people can't afford to live off of in the first place. And she had to go back to teaching after she had retired because he now had a medical disability. And he said to me, Travis, I'm doing this business because my wife deserves to come home, and I want to be able to buy her home again. That's a why, you guys. Like, that's the kind of why that you got to find. That's the kind of why your why should bring you to tears. That's the emotion that I'm talking about. You got to find your why. So, and then you got to know where you're going, right? You got to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you'll end up somewhere else, right? You wouldn't wake up in the morning and grab your car keys and just start driving without knowing where you're headed. Why would you live your life that way? You know, so many people, when I ask them, what's your dream life look like? What's your ideal situation? They have no idea because they just stopped dreaming. You gotta awaken, you know, that. Again, one of the trainings I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to teach you guys how to go through a process of when you're prospecting and asking the right questions that get people to start thinking again and dreaming big, because that's really the key. It's not, you don't sell them an opportunity. What you do is you give them a ticket on a rocket ship that's going to take them to where it is that they want to go, right? You're not just selling a helo. You're selling a ticket on a rocket ship that's taking off, and that rocket ship has the ability to be able to give them what it is they want, but you got to be able to define that first. Lewis Carroll says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will do. And you guys remember the book, Alice in Wonderland? You know, the exchange goes something like this. So the exchange basically goes, would you tell me, please, which way ought I go from here? And the cat says, that depends a good deal on where you want to go. I don't know. I don't care. I don't know much where I want to go, and it doesn't matter which way you want to go. So long as I get somewhere, Alice added as an explanation. Oh, you're sure to do that, said the cat, if only you walk long enough. So what does that mean? How can you pick a road to somewhere when you don't know where you're going? How do you get there when you don't know or you don't care what that is? Why would you live your life this way? Why is direction important? Where are you going? Until you can answer that question, you can't say that any route is better than another. any road will get you to where you want to go. So if you don't have a direction, why even have a rudder or a steering wheel, right? Without a direction, you're adrift in the stream of life. You're subject to all the problems and completely without resource. On the other hand, if you have a direction, you can always change your mind and decide to navigate around the rapids. It's easy to launch a new business with optimism, you guys. It's easy to get excited for a couple days or a few weeks. But to maintain your momentum, you need to set powerful, crystal clear goals. The first step to deciding what you want out of life is to decide exactly what you want. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to experience? What do you want to acquire? What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Because answering these questions is important. If the answer to these questions is, I don't know what I want to accomplish or where you want to go, then you've already arrived. I'll bet you that on this training right now, 80% of you don't know what the rank is, the next rank that you're trying to hit, or the volume, or how to get there. How do you hit a bullseye if you don't have one? You've got to know. You should know every single week, what is your goal? Now, you're not always running for rank. Everybody on this presentation, everybody watching this, either live or recorded, on Tuesday kicks off something that I'm just going to tell you guys, I'm going to be straight with you. You've got a 2-week cycle that's coming up this Tuesday. And it is an opportunity to rank advance. And every one of you should seize the opportunity. That's what entrepreneurs do. They seize the opportunity. I don't know if I was supposed to share that with you, but I just felt inspired to do so. You got a 2-week opportunity. Every one of you should go into Tuesday with a mindset that you've never had before, with a focus that you've never had before, and you should know what rank you're going after. I don't care if it's team builder, team developer, gold, platinum, diamond, but you should certainly know how to get there and put a plan in place that's going to make it happen. For the next 14 days, you got to sprint. We can't sprint all the time. But when, this business is built in small bursts of energy, and every time you do it, you get a little bit further along. And if you're missing out on those opportunities, well, shame on you, because these are opportunities to be able to grow your business. The number one thing that you can do to grow your business is to rank advance. I was talking to Johnny Josephson about this the other day. Johnny's just been rocking. She came in, she hit team builder, like her first day, team developer, then she went gold, and she's been here a few weeks. And she realizes that for her, the most important thing that she can do is be an example for her team, because everybody needs somebody to go first, and because she's telling him, look, if I can do this, you can do this too. The best thing that you can do is to rank advance. People ask me all the time, I can't get so-and-so engaged. I can't get so-and-so to work. Nobody's doing anything. And they want to go in team management mode and pull people along. And the reality is you can't lead through, you can only inspire through inspiration, not perspiration. I know that the best way for me to inspire my team, the best thing that I can do for my team is to go sponsor 60 people in 50 days. Because if I do it, I'm setting the pace. The speed of the leader sets the speed of the pack. So you got to know where it is that you want to go. One of the primary reasons most people don't get what they want is they aren't clear about what they want. What do you want in this business? What are you going to run for starting Tuesday in that 2-week period? If you don't know, get with your upline leader, and you need to have a conversation with them about it. It all comes back to knowing what you want or where you're going. Don't sabotage yourself by limiting yourself to not knowing exactly what it is that you want in life, you guys. Once you know your why power and where you want to go in life, the how becomes apparent. I'm going to say that again. Once you know your why power and where you want to go in life, the why or the how always becomes apparent. And the last thing that I'm going to close on is personal development. One of my favorite leadership mentors is a guy by the name of John Maxwell. If you've never read 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, I'll suggest that's a great place to start. Change is inevitable, he says, but growth is optional. And the only certainty in life is change. It's something that Summer and I have learned over and over and over and over and over again, right? We built to the top of a couple of different companies in network marketing, and more than one occasion, those companies were bought out, and we had to start over. We used to own a very successful lead generation company, and the mortgage industry collapsed. And guess what? That pushed me into network marketing industry. Sadly, last year I lost my mother to a terrible lung disease, and it was probably the hardest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I share these personal experiences with you because life is always moving and it's changing and it's evolving, and we must always be adapting and looking for the lessons in each experience. You know, Herculitus once said, no man ever steps in the same river twice, or it's not the same river and he's not the same man. I love that quote. It's our circumstances that change us, and it's up to us to learn and grow from them. If you're smart, you'll look for the life lessons with each experience. Personal growth is the single greatest contributing factor in building a successful business. People tend to recruit at or below their current personal development leadership level. I'm going to say that again. People tend to recruit at or below their current personal development or leadership level. So you want to attract better people to your business? Very simple. You got to become more. You want to earn more, you got to become more. Success is not a doing process, it's a becoming process. As Summer and I started to commit to leadership and personal growth and personal development, and we started to grow the people around us, and we started to attract better quality people to us. We started to increase our own value and net worth because we had more to offer others. That's the secret, guys. That's the magic. If you want to know the secret, that's the secret. Because you're not just promoting a product, you're in the people promoting business, and your number one product is you. You're promoting yourself. So what do you have to offer others? And that all comes back to personal development. The product that you're really sharing is you. This is so critical. When you're at a job, you perform tasks. When you go into a business for yourself, there's a big misconception that you're sharing the product or the service of the company. What you're really sharing is you. You're in the attraction business. When you are telling people about your great product with this ELO, they're looking more than they are listening. You know what they're doing? They're asking, do I want what this person has? Do I want to be like this person? You're the brochure, the billboard, and the poster child of your company, you guys. It's not what you say, it's who you are. This is critical because everybody thinks it's the script that matters, and it's not the script. What you say has very little to do with who you influence or who you attract. The very best recruiter didn't say much. You know what he said? He said, follow me, and his name was Jesus. It wasn't what he said. It was who he was. There are people in my life right now that I could call and I could say, listen, follow me. And you know what? They would because of that relationship. On the contrary, there's people that could call me and say the same thing, and I would run the other way because of who they are. Jim Rohn once asked the audience, how many people want more? And of course, everybody shouted, me, 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 me. And then he continued. He says, if you want to have more, you have to become more. Success is not a doing process, it's a becoming process. What you do, what you pursue will elude you, like chasing butterflies. Success is something you attract by who you become. For things to change, you have to change. When you change, everything will get better for you. So how do you do this? Let me give you a plan as we wrap this up today. Number one, read every day. Readers are leaders. 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. It's much better than watching the terrible news. Read something inspirational. If you don't know what to read, ask your leaders. There's all kinds of books. Developing the Leader Within, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, Go Pro, Beach Money. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on. The Alchemist is one of my favorites. I mean, there's all kinds of really great books. There's one I'm just missing right now. I wish I could think of it. I'll tell you. It's Not About You is another one that I like. David Mann and Bob Berg and David Mann, I think it is. You got a great book that you want? Recommend it right now. Write it on there for everybody. Number two, listen to 30 minutes of instructional audio every day in the car. That should say, there's number three. I got those mixed up. Turn your car into a personal success machine, you guys. You spend enough of your time in your car. What are you listening to? Are you listening to the radio and stuff that's just music? Or you know what? Take that time to program your mind. Start listening to Jim Rohn. Start listening to Joel Osteen. Start listening. Your life will change if you start doing that. Stay plugged into your mentors. You know, it baffles me that people will join a business and then they don't get on the calls. They don't plug into the trainings. You know, we probably have over 1,000 people on this team, and there's 67 participants on here right now. There was 74. I'm just long-winded, so I know I lost a few people. But the truth is that's 10% of the people in our organization. How many of them should be here this morning? Now, I know life happens, and I know that people, look, I get it. We're busy too. But my point is some people are not making this business a priority. The most important thing that you can do is show up, plug in, stay on the calls. Every time that I get on one of those calls, I'm on every one of them that I can. I will arrange and rearrange my dinner to make sure that I can get on a call when Melanie's presenting, when Mike's presenting. Why? Because I'm inspired every time I hear the presentation. I could give that presentation in my sleep. I do it 3 times a day. But you know what? I don't care, because they might just say one thing that's different that I like, that I add. And every time I get done listening to it, it builds me up. I don't miss these Saturday trainings. I don't miss the Tuesday. I was on the Tuesday training. It was a getting started training. I know all of that stuff. But you know what? There was still stuff I heard that I'm like, yeah, that's great. I'm going to use that when I'm helping train my people. This is the business we're in. We're in the people development business. And where do you get that? People always ask me, well, how do I get that same testimony and that faith and that belief as you do? Well, how do you do it? You show up. Because I guarantee you guys are going to get off here a little bit. Your belief will be a little bit higher than it was before. And the last thing is, do it now. Commit to it. Do it. Don't wait. Stop making excuses because you just have been so busy that you haven't been able to launch it or do it. No. We're all busy. Make this a priority now. With regards to the car, studies show that we drive 12,000 miles every year. That's 300 hours each year, which is equivalent to 2 semesters of an advanced degree in college. Think about it. You could have a PhD in whatever course that you sign up for: leadership, sales, marketing, prospecting, wealth building, just by turning your car into that university. So I think I'm going to wrap up here. Do it now. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Fear keeps people from taking action and moving forward. The mind will invent thousands of reasons why somebody isn't ready. I need to organize my list. I need to make my vision board. I need to create my website. The hardest step to take on that 1,000-mile journey is the first one. Destroy that fear by taking that step quickly. Don't think about it. Lunge your body forward, and without conscious thought, your right foot will be there to catch you. And you do it again, and you lunge forward, and your left foot will be there to catch you. And don't stop now. Keep going. Even if you trip and fall, you already did the hardest part. Everybody remember Newton's law. We'll close on this thought. A body at rest stays at rest unless acted upon by an external unbalanced force. Make that external force you lunging forward to your goals and dreams. A body in motion stays in motion. Just by doing that, you've done 90% of more than what 90% of people have done so far. Just get started. Napoleon once asked an audience, what is the average number of times that a person tries to achieve a new goal before they give up? And after several guesses from the audience, he gave them the answer. He says less than 1. Most people give up before they even try. Even though they want to improve their lives and make more money and accomplish more, most people respond with "I can't" in their heads, and they give up. So before the law of diminishing intent overtakes you, the time to strike is when the iron is hot. The time to begin is when the emotion is high. That's why it's so critical when you launch your business or you bring somebody new into the business to get them engaged right away. Without a sense of urgency, desire loses its value. Write that down. Without a sense of urgency, desire loses its value. Now it's the time to take action, not tomorrow, not Monday, or when the circumstances are better, because there never will be a perfect time to get started. I can hear some of you saying, but I'm not ready. Yes, you are ready. There's never a good time as of right now. The best time to jump into massive action is today. Take action today, fast. The key to success is massive failure. If you want more successes, just double your rate of failure, you guys. So with that, I want to say thank you very much for being here today. How this adventure ends for you has a lot to do with how it starts. Take action, you guys. Go take action. If you got some value out of today, go over to the groups and leave a little comment. Drop by my post and share my wall and share your favorite quote from today. And I just want to end by saying how much I believe in this opportunity and how much I believe in each and every one of you. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a part of your journey. And I hope that there was something that really you needed to hear today. and I'll get this recording up soon. Let's get this in front of every single team member and make sure that they take the time to watch it. And with that, you guys have an absolutely incredible day today. Thank you. You guys take care.